Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mondays with Mindy. Hey, Christian.
I'm Mindy. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show.
Today, we're going to be having a conversation with actor, writer, producer, director, and talk show host, Jerry O'Connell. Born and raised in New York City, Jerry began his acting career at a very young age, 11, when he landed his first feature film, Rob Reiner's Stand By Me. I mean, a classic.
Classic.
Lots of commercials and television followed, but Jerry decided to enter NYU and graduated in 1995. Well, it took so long for him because he continued to work on his summer breaks and also during his junior year, took some time off to star in 4 seasons of a television series called Sliders. During its 4th and final season, that's when Jerry started to produce, write, and direct the series as well. Wow. Jerry then went on to star in a slew of movies, including Jerry Maguire, Mission to Mars, Body Shots, Scream 2, Kangaroo Jack. He also sold his first screenplay, First Daughter. From 2001 to 2007, Jerry starred as Detective Woody Holt in NBC's crime drama Crossing Jordan. And since then, he's done numerous television and films. Basically, the man has not stopped working or challenging himself. He first appeared on Broadway in Seminar alongside Alan Rickman. And in 2020, I was so lucky to see one of his performances, appeared in Roundabout Theater's Broadway revival of a soldier's play, which was going strong until it went dark during COVID. Currently, he voices Commander Jack Ransom on the animated series Star Trek Lower Decks. Jerry lives with his wife, actress Rebecca Romaine, and their 2 twin girls.
Amazing. Well, I'm very excited to meet him and bring him into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, Jerry O'Connell.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes. Such an honor to be here.
Oh, please. This makes me so happy. We start each episode by Christian and I kind of came up with 20 questions and I picked 5 at random and we just do a deep dive. Thank you for being out. Thank you for being outside and showing us fresh air.
I have to come outside because I have 2 children. They're continually on TikTok and there is no bandwidth left in my house. So I have to come to a park about a half a mile from my house. I'm directly under a 5G tower as we speak. I can feel the COVID hitting me in the face.
Oh my gosh. I sense the power. Thank you. Jerry, what's your favorite place to travel to and why?
My favorite place to travel to, I mean, I am originally from New York City, and I do live in a little hamlet of Southern California called Calabasas. This is a public park here in Calabasas, Wild Walnut Park. If anybody's driving past, come on over. Really good Wi-Fi service. I really like going back to New York. I love the public transportation. I love the fact that when you leave your door, it's on. There's just there's an intensity to the city that can be intimidating. My wife is from Northern California, and my wife just doesn't like public transportation or like the stress of like leaving of like New York. My wife likes her car, like sitting in her car.
Yeah.
Her music, her space. I mean, occasionally someone flips you off on the road, but like it's like your world. But I really like going to New York for vacation wise. I love going to south of Cancun, Tulum.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
It is part of the Caribbean, so you get that Caribbean water, and it's a little more cost effective than Cancun. I know as movie stars, I'm not supposed to talk about the cost of vacations. I'm just supposed to like make believe I'm in my private jet going down there, but they do have direct flights, commercial flights, unfortunately. Sorry, Hollywood stardom world. So flying to Cancun and driving down to Tulum is really nice.
Nice. I appreciate that because you asked. What what does my opinion matter in any of this? Nothing. Jerry, what assumption do people make about you and they're wrong.
What assumption do people make about me? You know what's funny? I guess wow, I can't believe I'm just diving right into this, which is
This makes
I
me
guess
so happy. Do it.
I guess it's our common space in a little bit. Is I was in Stand By Me when I was younger. You can look it up. Great movie. I was 11, and I just recently watched on Hulu Soleil Moon Frye's Kid 90 documentary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think people assume because I was in Stand By Me, I would have and should have been in Soleil Moon Frye's documentary, or I was running with like a Rat Pack or a Brat Pack or a, you know, I was part of sort of childhood stardom, but I was not. Stand By Me came out. I just wasn't. I lived in New York. Neither of my parents were in the entertainment industry. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have representation, and I was not part of a kid celebrity culture.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I was a little older, I did do an episode of Charles in Charge, if anyone remembers the famous sitcom starring Scott Baio
and Willie Ames.
Ames, correct?
I did one too.
I did an episode of that, and I got it's so funny. They had the onset school there, where you go to school in the trailer right outside of the studio. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is it. This is Hollywood. Like, check it out. But that was really my only sort of glimpse into celebrity kid culture. So a lot of people think I'm from that world, but I really only visited once on my one episode. It wasn't even an arc. It was a one episode. It was a one and done on Charles in Charge. I thought for sure my character, they were going to make it recurring or something.
Man. Well, I'm glad. Then you escaped the Hollywood madness. So good on you.
I don't know if I escaped it. I do have to say, I watched that Soleil Moon Frye documentary. It kind of made me bummed out I wasn't invited to that party.
No, don't do it.
I watched that. They were all going to Disney World and Universal Studios.
And also doing copious amounts of drugs. And all I can say is thank goodness that iPhones weren't around back then, because you wonder how many of them would have had careers if some of that behavior was seen. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah,
no, it is a different, social media is just a completely different culture. And it's so crazy too, because I have two 12-year-old daughters.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to see them in a TikTok culture and growing up in that, it's so funny. My daughters, who I really try to let them know that social media doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's not real. It's fun. Like, you can use it. I love Instagram, Mindy. I follow you on Instagram. I love it.
We follow each other. Yes. I like
so
how you are talking to them about it.
It's fun to keep up with people, and see people, but
it's not real life.
It's it's
it's curated. So funny.
Yeah.
Well, just to let you know something that happened last night, and this story, I'm just warning you, this story is not going to have an ending.
Okay. I have another question, so just hit it.
My wife is currently working in Toronto, so I'm with my daughters right now. Ooh. And so a lot of times I'm in my bed and I'm watching TV, and one of my daughters will come into bed with me right before bedtime. And they're typically right before bedtime. I know this makes me a terrible parent. They should be reading, but typically that's their social media. That's their TikTok time, when they really blast through it and usually create content. Oh my gosh, I should just hit leave meeting now.
No. I feel you.
When they're creating content. But so my daughter came downstairs and went, "Dad, let me show you this video I made." for TikTok. Everybody's doing it, and I guess it's part of a challenge. And if you recall on TikTok, this is how old I am, and your young viewers are about to make fun of me, but there was like some sort of challenge where it was some
Yes.
song that they played over and over again, where it was someone like looking normal, standing in a doorway, and then the lights went red, and they were very like sexually and provocatively like rubbing up against the door
Yes.
jam. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
All too well.
Unfortunately, I do.
Well, I thought it was like an earthquake prevention thing because that's where you're supposed to stand if the earthquake happens. But they're actually like in like lingerie, just going like pow, wah, pow.
Oh, Jerry. Oh, holy hell. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, Mindy. I didn't see you do that doorway challenge.
Let me
thing.
tell you, in the words of my Granny Rose, may she rest in peace, I am not on the TikTok. I am only on the Instagram.
Oh my, I'm not.
No,
I feel
no.
too old. I feel like there are laws against people like me being on TikTok.
I mean, I look at it, but no, I have aged out of TikTok. Thanks for playing.
Sorry about the aircraft flying over. I am in a public park. I just want to make
that's
sure
okay.
that I have the best.
My neighbor is building a new home, so it's construction
Wi-Fi for
central over here.
But my daughter gets into bed with me last night and shows me a video that she made. There's a challenge right now where it's my parents in the 90s. Okay. And it's a challenge. And so my daughter did it, and she showed a lot of photos of my wife, Rebecca Romaine. You can look her up. Was a very successful model in the 90s.
Yes, we
Very
know who your wife
successful.
is.
And I was like a basic cable TV star in the 90s. That was like my jam. I was
Okay,
like
excuse
big on
me.
basic
You
cable.
starred in multiple series. Give me a break, Jerry.
Well, I was I and first run syndication like television shows. But so my daughter cut together a thing using older photos of us, and my daughter was like, I'm gonna post this. They typically ask me like if they can post something or not, because I
Good for
explained to them
them.
like some things are offensive,
Wait,
you know, blah blah blah.
that's kind of huge. I gotta
Yeah.
say, I love that
agree.
they ask you your permission.
You know, I don't have any blocks on their phones, and that's only because I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know how to do it. I just like the fact that I zoomed into this call and it's working. That's
It's a
like
win.
shocking right there.
Okay, we're already winning. Okay, good.
This pandemic has totally exposed the fact that I am like whatever IT or like tech savvy or like back in my day,
Yes.
like Radio Shack people are good at. I am not good at.
Listen, I always tell Christian, and he knows this about me, I am technically Amish. That's what I say to everyone. So that that it just
Sets the
makes
bar.
it really clear where Tanta Mindy is. Okay. All right, Jerry. What
I am
is the
Jebediah.
best?
No way. I want to say about
Yes.
my daughter. So I
Oh,
looked at it, and it was photos of my wife and modeling and stuff, and like, you know, it was like modeling stuff and like me being like a TV actor. And my daughter was like, "Can I post it?" And I was like, "You know what, honey? Don't post it." And she was like, "Why?" Like I could tell she was like kind of proud that her parents like, because a lot of her classmates were doing it, and I was like, well, your mom was a model and you're showing photos of her on the cover of magazines, and I was a basic cable TV star. It's kind of show offy. It's a little boasty. And I wouldn't post it if I were you. And she didn't post it. And that's
Wow.
like I told you my story had no ending really, but it's just like a lot of times I go through social media and especially Instagram, and a lot of times it's like I don't want to say it makes me feel bad. It just makes me feel like I'm not doing enough with my life or career.
I think it lends itself to that whole thing of compare and despair. If you go on a deep dive in any of social media. So no, I feel that. I kind of love that you said that to her, and I love that she got it.
Yeah.
Especially now during this
When
time
people
in
are really
our
hurting.
lives.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even really hurting. It's just like I can only like personally, like, you know, while I'm very pleased to have my kids and they're in school and my wife is working, it's been very slow for me
Same.
professionally.
Same.
And
Yeah.
I just didn't I'm acutely aware of creating FOMO. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
I do. And I applaud it.
and I told my daughter, I was like, I don't know, I don't think you should post it. And it's just so funny how it's just so funny, that culture. I know very little about it, but it's fun to raise kids who are, I mean, like social media natives. Like, I'm a social media immigrant. Like, I didn't, like, this is like new to me,
Same.
and for my kids, it was around before them,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's the end of that story. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're just beginning. It's quite all right. What's the best advice you've been given, and who gave it?
Advice I've been given.
Or pearl of wisdom?
The best advice I've been given, I guess, came from I was working on a TV show, and I was arguing with my boss, and I was arguing with my boss, who was like the showrunner of a TV show. I didn't want to say a line in a TV show, and one of the writers, who's a good friend of mine, pulled me aside and was like, "Why are you fighting this person?" And I was like, "I'm not saying that line. It's stupid. I know better, blah, blah, blah." And he said to me, "Please don't fight these people. You're never going to win. You're never going to beat these people. So just do it and stop being such like a crabby person about it. Like, it just makes it, you're just bringing everybody down. You're just not going to win." So sometimes when dealing with superiors, I know this is sort of the antithesis of what I probably should be saying, which is like, if you don't feel comfortable with something, you got to fight them. You have to fight to the, but
no, but also as actors, sometimes for me, it's been about, how do I make this work? That's my challenge. How do I make this line come out and I don't look like an asshole?
And just don't fight the powers. Like, don't fight the powers. I think something else happens too. I mean, I know I said earlier I wasn't one, but I was kind of a child star, Mindy.
We know that to be true. Yes.
So a lot of times what would happen before I got that great bit of advice, which was stop fighting them, you're not going to win. Sometimes I think I know more than other people because I've been doing it for like 35 years.
Yes.
And that's a bad attitude to have.
Listen, all we have is our talent and our reputation, and those little things like follow us around. And so I've learned too, there's a way to sort of say, oh, I'm uncomfortable doing this, but I'll give it a go.
Right.
And let it be their decision that they rewrite the line. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I hear you. I hear you.
I feel so. Here's a lesson that we pulled out of that. Here's the takeaway.
Okay.
I feel uncomfortable doing this, but I'll give it a go. That's what I'm going to say next time I'm on set.
It goes a long way, kiddo. Yeah.
Feel a little uncomfortable doing this, but I'll give it a go. Come on, let's go. Roll those cameras. I'm ready.
Yes.
Boom.
And you know what? I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you'll surprise yourself.
Yeah.
I mean it. That's been my experience. That's all I can say.
I also did a play where I heard the piece of advice wasn't given to me. It was given to someone else. Again, I'm not adhering to the, follow your gut. You got to do. A coworker was having a little trouble saying a line and was telling a playwright,
Ooh.
I don't want to say this line. And playwrights are very protective of their of their material. And I heard the playwright say to the performer, "Why don't you say it 10,000 times and then see if it feels a little more comfortable saying it?"
Okay, you know what? That is a pearl. That's fantastic.
I mean, literally, we were like at a table, and it was almost like watching like your mom and your stepdad like fight, and like your mom say
your
something
stepdad
like
being the playwright just made your mom feel like a shrinky dink.
But I remember like sitting there at the table, and it was just like sitting there listening to the argument, and the argument went on for a while.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
And then the playwright said, "Why don't you say it 10,000 times and then see if it feels more comfortable?" And
Wow.
I remember sitting there and just being like, oh.
By the way, because you said this, and I'm sure it's not the play that you're talking about. I don't care if it is. But I didn't go backstage because I just get weird and shy
Mindy,
and whatever. But
you're
you were brilliant in a
now.
soldier's play, really. It was.
Come backstage, Mindy.
Sometimes
Let me
I
tell
do.
you, actors listening, if you have any connection to cast or anyone in a play, you are supposed to go backstage.
I know. Oh,
I forget who told me that, but you are supposed to, even if you don't want to.
I know. I just
More
get
wisdom.
so shy and weird and introverted, believe it or not. So anyway, all right. Next question. We're off.
I will tell you this: I was in that play, and I will tell you, a famous actor. You know, we're very discreet here on your podcast, whose initials are Liev Schreiber, also told me that he did not come backstage, and I said, "Why not? You're supposed to." And Mr. Schreiber just went, "I don't, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't like do that." So some people, I think, in your defense, I think some
Thank you.
people,
I
it's
do
a little bit of
sometimes.
like maybe you feel people are like coming off of work and you don't want to bother them, but
Yes.
wow, some Broadway professional, somebody big time told me you have to go backstage.
No,
I
every
forget who
time
it
I've
was.
gone, people have been lovely. I just sometimes I'm having a very shy moment or whatever. And anyway, okay, Jerry, I'm asking you another question.
Sock it to
What's your guilty pleasure? Do you have one?
No, yeah, I have a lot. I'm just trying to think of what is the most guilty. Like I was about to say, like I have a real sweet tooth, but that's kind of lame. I want something a little dirtier than
It's
that.
not-
I want to give you something a little dirty.
It's not lame. That's hilarious.
No, it is kind of lame. It's just like I like chocolate after dinner. Guilty pleasure. Let me think of.
Well, I know one of
Oh,
yours.
you know
only
what?
'cause-
I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
My guilty pleasure is 90 Day Fiance, the reality show. If anyone
Yes.
watches it, it is just
nice.
I think it's the best. I think it's the best show on TV. It just and I'm actually not even like this isn't even a bit. It's the best show on television. The storylines are real.
I mean, you couldn't write this. Yeah.
It's not even that you can't write it. It's so American because it's, typically either someone coming to the States or they do 90 Day Fiance the other way, someone leaving the States. The storylines where someone goes to a country in the Middle East and then has to deal with a whole new set of cultural norms.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas maybe someone was a little more liberated in the United States and watching new cultural norms sort of inhibit those freedoms. It is crazy to watch and actually kind of scary. I cringe a lot at it. There's currently something going on with a French girl who is trying to meet some dude, and it's during the pandemic, and there's all kinds of like restrictions, and the dude is just not really the woman was detained in a Mexican City jail.
Oh my word.
Yes, and he went on the vacation they were supposed to go on and
what?
I know. I was shocked. I'm telling you. The show
Please
is
tell me they are no longer together.
I don't believe they are. It's sort of in the middle of that season.
Okay.
But it's 90 Day Fiance is a great show. It's really fun to watch and really funny, like really funny characters.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Although I did see a half of one season, but I think it was a long time ago, and it was like a train wreck to
Mindy,
watch.
I really suggest you check
Do
it
a
out.
deep dive?
It's really good. It's really
Okay.
good. And
Okay.
also, I love Below Deck on Bravo.
Oh, hello. Yeah,
I
without
think it's a
question.
great show.
Agreed.
It's really fun. It's always I don't judge people physically. Everybody knows that about me, but they're super hot. The cast, everyone's always good looking.
Agreed.
And they're in super tight quarters, and they all have physical relations with each other, and then
Yeah,
they have
I'm
to work
obsessed.
with each other the next
I'm
day.
obsessed. Yeah.
And it's like it's not walk of shame. It's like career of shame because
Yeah.
you like have to work with the people the next day.
Yeah.
And it's
No, it's so good. It's so good. I'm obsessed
like,
myself. So
there's also like life or death stuff, like maritime life or death stuff. It's really it's a good show. It's also terrible. I've never worked in the hospitality industry, but like sometimes there's terrible guests. People who just like believe because they paid, and they are probably paying exorbitant
yes,
prices, that they can do and say whatever they want. So it's really it's
sometimes
a really fun
I'm
show.
so surprised that they know they're being filmed and they still act that way.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
I think also, and you know what else happens is I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I think when you get drunk on a boat, you get drunker just because it's like moving and stuff. And I mean, we've all been on booze cruises. Like you get drunker on a booze cruise. And I think people get drunker on boats. And I mean, I don't have to tell anybody listening to this, you know, booze and reality television go
no
together
bueno.
like cookies and milk. No, it's no bueno. Bueno. Mucho bueno. And you know, when you get drunk primaries on that show, it's
whoosh.
It's some good unscripted television.
Agreed. All right, last question. Who is your favorite relative and why?
You know, my brother just had a child.
Oh my gosh,
who was like 5 months
congratulations.
old. Yeah, I'll send you a photo. It's on this phone that I'm talking to you on. I'll send you a photo so during the podcast you can like flash it in. But very cute baby, very cute, very funny baby, and it's so cute. I mean, again, this story has no ending, but you know, I'm very close with my brother, and he's a little bit older. He's 46. He's a year younger than me, and this is his first child. But I really see my brother's face from when he was younger in this like little baby's face. It's uncanny to me. It's crazy. It's really funny.
Your parents must be so excited.
They are very, very excited. It's really funny how grandkids really make parents so happy. And it's great too, because my parents, listen, they're not the most tech savvy, so they're probably not seeing this, so I can say whatever I want. But you know, my parents they're at that age where, you know, I didn't see them for a year because of the because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so they got vaccinated, and I saw them, and man, after not seeing my parents for a year, they looked really old when I saw them. You know, I know that's it's like, oh God, this is I mean, I know we talked about parts you can cut out of the podcast. I mean, I'm kidding, but I'm not. But like you know, when you see like a puppy or a child and you don't see them for a little bit, you're like, oh, look how big you are. Yeah. It's like when I didn't see my parents for a year,
and it's been a hard
elderly,
year.
And it's in a hard year. It's like, man, I went out with my dad the other day, and God, this is such a nightmare that I'm even saying this. But he has like the old person walk a little bit now. Oh God, kill me now. But it's just tough, you know. Your parent, as we get older, our parents get older, and I'm just so grateful to have them, and they have all their grandkids, and yes, they're very happy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Again, much like my TikTok story of my daughter, a lot of these stories don't have endings, and I want to apologize to not only both of you, but to your audience as well.
This is like a conversation. That's all
Yeah.
this is, beginning, middle, and end. You can't do it wrong. There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Right.
So I just want to ask you, just creatives to creative, that
Sure.
I know for me it's been a really tough year. And part of the reason we started this podcast was that I could connect to other creatives, because I get inspired. It's aspirational as well to talk to other people. And what has kind of kept you going in creative process, however you define it, during this time? Have you been doing anything special, different, same?
You know, I wrote a little bit. I have written. I wrote
Your screenplay, yes?
correct.
Yeah.
First Daughter, starring Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
You can. I was about to say rent it at your local Blockbuster, but that would be incorrect. The only one you'd have to go to Oregon. There's only one Blockbuster.
That's it, Bend, Oregon.
You can stream it.
We'll have it in
Bravo.
the show notes.
Bravo.
But it's funny. I found I was in Stand By Me as a kid, and that was based on a Stephen King short story. So
Yes.
I've always been a fan of sort of Stephen King, especially short stories or novellas that come out that Stephen King writes.
Yes.
And I found one, and I adapted it into a screenplay, and it was just sort of like something I did as like a goof, because there was so much sitting around.
Yeah.
And I did send it to a producer. I have not heard back from that producer. It's been a couple of months. But, that's what I did. So yeah, again, a story with no ending. Sorry, everybody. Sorry about that.
Stop apologizing, Jerry. I'm going to come through that screen and deck you.
But my wife is currently in Star Trek, and she has a pretty big role in Star Trek and does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I run a lot of lines with her. In this new pandemic, COVID on set life or filming, I've only worked once during this pandemic, but it's a lot of like not being with the other cast members,
Yes.
and then coming to set when it's your time.
Yeah.
You know this, Mindy, like rehearsal time, running lines, it's so important.
Yeah.
Especially these days, because
No longer an option.
it's no longer an option. It's sort of like, okay, we're all going to be separate. We're going to Zoom, like zooming read-throughs and stuff. It's just not the same as like being in the room. So there's very little rehearsal time for my wife. So I run lines with her a lot.
Awesome.
And because my wife is in Toronto, we do it over the phone or over FaceTime. And I find a lot of satisfaction in just giving
doing scene work with her. Yeah.
Just scene work, but also it's sort of fun too, because you're really loose as an actor when you are not really there and you have nothing to lose. And so you go, hey,
you're really brave.
Why don't you try this?
Yeah.
And my wife is like, I can't try that. And I'm like, well, why can't you try it? And my wife was like, because it's ridiculous. And I was like, well, just do it. And then it's so satisfying to talk to my wife later that day and go, how was work today? And my wife go, oh my God. As a joke, I did that thing in a take, and they went crazy for it. And that's like, it's like really satisfying.
Oh, that's gold.
Yeah.
That is gold, 100%.
For
So
both
listen,
of you.
when New York opens up, and I'm not asking you this, it's curiosity. Just because I have friends who are also in mid-run. Is there a plan for you guys in fall or winter to go back and finish, quote unquote, the run of Soldier's Play?
So Soldier's Play, for those listening, was a play I was doing that was running during the pandemic, and it closed, as did everything else, as did the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
I don't think at this time there
No.
is. I just,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
I think
I was just curious whether it was
you
one of
know,
the ones coming back.
I, I don't, I haven't heard anything. You know, it's a
Yeah.
pretty big cast. I think there was
Yeah.
12 of us. So, I mean, to get all of us, and you know, it's, we just got to see what happens with Broadway. You know, I mean,
I do.
you know, it's so funny. I went to a Dodgers game last week, and
Okay. Seriously, did you? You
I
were one
did,
of the.
but
How was
they
it?
operate. It was great. Listen, I am fully vaxxed, I should say, first of all.
No,
Secondly,
same, but still, you didn't. You were good.
I was very good. I wore a mask. I mean, they allowed 10,000 people in there, but they operate at 25% capacity.
Ah.
And I don't think Broadway can operate at 25% capacity.
No, they can't afford
Broadway,
to.
Yeah.
yeah, Broadway needs to be, I think, at a minimum, and I'm not a producer, but I think it's 80% capacity is
Yeah.
what they need to make it. So they got to wait till then. And I don't think
Right.
the world
Well, and
is
also,
ready
it's
to-
really going to be New Yorkers who support that first year. They're not going to
Yeah.
have an influx of.
Tourists.
You
By the
know.
way, let me just say about the Dodger game going there. I felt
Yeah.
very safe going there. There was a lot of separation with other people.
Okay,
it was
good.
A very, it was a very well run situation. And listen, at first it was very scary being around 10,000 other people.
I
I mean,
would
it was
think
the most
so.
people I've been around
Yeah.
since March, you know,
Yeah.
but of last year. But I felt very safe. I was really glad that I went. It was really like, okay, all right, we're getting
Okay.
back to
I'm
it.
so glad to hear that. Okay, good. Mr. O'Connell, you are a rock star.
You are.
Well, thanks. I'll take it. But you really are. And Christian and I so appreciate you taking the time and coming on an episode. I am such a fan of you professionally and what I know from you personally. I just adore you so much. You have no idea.
I love you.
Oh, so thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah, no worries. I'm sorry again that all the stories, none of them had endings. I want to apologize to everybody. I need to work on my panel, work on my
Please.
punchlines.
You another channeling Granny Rose. You were a delight.
Follow me on Yelp, everybody. I
Yeah.
give reviews to things.
Yeah, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of many stories, Jerry O'Connell.
Woohoo! Yeah.
This episode of Mondays with Mindy is brought to you in part by our sponsors, The Cocktail Party, Love Mary, and Beekman 1802. Tired of cooking? Love fancy hors d'oeuvres but don't have any idea how to prepare? Look no further. The Cocktail Party, Love Mary, is here. For 15 years, New York's caterer to the stars and our pal Mary Giuliani has served her deliciously whimsical hors d'oeuvres to the best names in art, fashion, and entertainment. Now she's put them all in an adorable little box to send from her heart to your home. As Mary says, all you have to do is turn on your oven, pour yourself a drink, and enjoy more time with your guests. She'll take care of the rest. Go to marygiuliani.com or mondayswithmindy.com for more information and to order yours today. Beekman 1802 is a clean and cruelty-free beauty company founded on a goat farm in upstate New York. We craft a range of products from goat milk soaps and body care to clean and clinically proven skincare, all safe for sensitive skin. Visit beekman1802.com or mondayswithmindy.com and discover why more than 1 million neighbors have joined our community.